Can someone just get this guy some fucking Vivante, like, pronto, please? Swan Song. So in Swan Song, we're following Pat, who is a retired hairdresser, living in a kind of care home at this point, and he's just stuck in a rut. He's just stuck in his routines. And the film does a really good point of showing that. The plot of this effectively is someone comes into his care home at the start and asks him to come and do the hair of someone that's died. Somebody from his past left it in their will that she wanted him to do her hair for him. At first he refuses, but then he just sees himself in his care home and it's so bland and washed out versus him, and there's kind of cutbacks to how flamboyant he used to be. Because he used to be a stage performer back in the 90s or earlier, whereas now there's almost no colour for him. So he refuses this request at first and he just continues to live here, and you see him going about his day and there's really not much for him. But he hits a snapping point and he just realises he needs to go and do it. So the plot is he's going to go do this woman's hair. But we're not here for the plot. We're here to watch this story, this day or couple of days play out for Pat, and it is terrific. It's so much fun. The actor playing Pat just kills it in every single scene. You know, he's got to play this kind of beaten down, also like internally flamboyant character, and he just perfectly illustrates this everywhere he goes. So he escapes from his care home. He's not got money to his name, and he's just kind of travelling and interacting with so many different people, all kind of take him towards the point he wants to get to. But every time he does, he gets, you know, maybe puts his rings back on, or he gets a little bit more colour about him and by his outfit. And every time he does or has another good interaction, you see a little bit more of this character, this almost repressed character coming back out. You know, he'll have a little bit more interactions, he gets a little skip in his steps, something that's fun. And he's got this kind of innocence about him. Don't get me wrong, he does a couple of things. You know, he steals a couple of things here and there. So not innocence in the eyes of the law, but just this innocence in the way he kind of views the world and sees himself and his interactions. There's no agenda there. He just wants to have a good time anywhere he can. He wants to be bigger than life. And you 100% feel from the start of his journey that he used to be before he got retired and went in this home. And he's trying to get back to that as the movie progresses. So the person whose hair he done, so the person who's died that he's going to go do their hair for the funeral, she's like an ex-work associate of his. You know, there's little bits of dialogue throughout the movie and different characters that reflect back to how he was with her. It's like they had a love-hate relationship where they didn't get on but they respected each other, and I think that as well is inside him, where he wants to do right by her but he can't get over the grudge. So the journey playing out is him kind of getting over grudges, seeing the new world. But this guy is sassy. This guy is sassy as fuck, and it's just beautiful to see. Don't get me wrong, some of the acting could leave a little bit to be desired, but man, it's so fun watching it. I couldn't take my eyes off what he was going to do next. It was just a fun like road trip movie. So it looks like the early stages of an RPG though at a few points, because he's got a few bits of colour and a few things to wear. And you know that way where you've not got enough yet, you're maybe just a few levels in, but you're trying to go for those little stat boosts? He kind of comes across like that, and it's just terrific. So it's all these wee interactions he has with people and when he goes to shops, because he wants to just live this lifestyle that he used to have, but he doesn't have the money for it. But it doesn't seem to faze him. And in each instance where he goes to a shop or goes to get something, you know, he's leaving tips. He's spending more than he can. He's spending himself right to his penny and counting the change. But every time he does it with a smile. He just wants to live his best life on this day out or these couple of days out, and that's exactly what he does here. And you see a wee smile on his face just every single time, because you know he's kind of gone back to his old ways. He's a force to be reckoned with. He's like a massive gay hurricane just strolling through town. Because he's not been around for years, the world is totally different now, certainly in regards to, you know, kind of gay acceptance as a whole. So with that, he also comes across in each scene just a little bit reserved, and then as the characters kind of show that, you know, it's 2021, we don't care, be you, he starts being himself and smile on his face, and he just leans into it. He's becoming who he is. So we learn as well that he's not been left with much. He did have a partner, but because this was years ago, his partner didn't have a will. So when he died, everything went to his nephew and left Pat here with nothing. No money, nothing to spend. But as he's going through the town, he's trying to go to old shops he's been to because he needs to get a certain list of products to do this hair. And And obviously the products have changed in the years, but he doesn't know this. So he is going for products that don't exist. He's getting laughed at. People are trying to help him. At the same time, you know, they're not dicks, they're trying to help him. And he's meeting people that knew him. He's meeting people that he's done their hair before, because he done a lot of people's hair. He was fucking amazing at it from people's reactions, and just so lovable, and just an absolute character in this town. So you see these moments where characters are remembering him and talking to him, and he's just having a nostalgic trip about who he used to be. That kind of brings out the old Pat now. And the movie kind of veers off a little bit, and it starts to kind of address the changes that have happened with society and the legal system regarding LGBT, just to give the full cover all there. You know, like you'll see a couple of dads with their kids, you know, as a couple, and he's thinking back to how no one's there to remember him, because he doesn't have kids, obviously, and he doesn't have his legacy to pass down. And it kind of tackles these issues in quite an interesting way. Now, don't get me wrong, a big portion of this is leaning into the gay community and how things have progressed, but it doesn't feel like it's just trying to be like a kind of woke film in this day and age. It's not doing it for the sake of doing it, and it was really done well, I thought. You know, he goes to like his old gay bar that he used to perform at, and no one recognises him, no one knows his name, but he's in there, he's mingling, and he's understanding the new world effectively. You know, one of his friends used to hang about toilets, and now he's on Tinder, and it's just so much better for him. It's little things like that. How they're talking about the gay bars used to be a safe place, but now there isn't a need for a safe place. You could go be you in any pub or any club that you want to go into. But the man just dominates. Every scene he is in is just confident, innocent. He just does not give a fuck, which is fine for a character like this, because he's not doing anything wrong either. Okay, a couple of things he does wrong or could do a little better, but looking at the bigger picture here, he's just having a good day, and it's like it revitalizes him. He's right back into his youth, and just sees that everyone's accepting him. And through all this, he's still trying to deal with his kind of resentment towards this woman that's died, and how much he dislikes her, and what his real feelings are. He's meeting new characters, and he's a very honest person. You know, he's getting a lift off someone near the start and starts talking about his ex-partner and how he died and left him with nothing effectively. So we see flashbacks, sparingly I will say, which is really good. And they add just another layer to the movie, and it's showing he's just looking at a world gone by. You know, he's not seen these steady progressions. He's been away for God knows how long, and come out into a world that you just know that if he had the money to continue the lifestyle he wanted, he would be killing it nowadays. You know, 'cause you've got all the clubs, you've got all the drag shows, and you know he would have just lapped up everything in this and still been a name for himself. But unfortunately, he just get done dirty by life. What I'm going to be saying about this is 100% make time for this movie. It's won a couple of awards already at film festivals. If you see this somewhere to watch, please do. You'll have a great time just seeing someone kind of re-experience the world. And it's those interactions with the people that he remembers are so heartfelt, just as much as the interactions with people that maybe know his name only, or people that have no idea who he is, because he approaches each situation the exact same. He's just open, he's honest, but that journey's not a straight line. He is zigzagging all over the place to get to that point. Like, that was some of my thoughts and takeaways from Swan Song. Have you seen it? If you have, please do let me know down below. Do you agree or disagree with me? I'd love to see why. And just to keep up to date with anything else I've got coming out, please do subscribe. I always love seeing that wee number just jump up. But thank you for watching.